So, as a resident, can I remain on Aberfeldy West Estate if the regeneration goes ahead?
The vast majority of residents who want to stay on the estate will be able to stay on the estate, but that will depend on their current tenure and the eligibility for the housing list. So all Poplar HARCA tenants will be offered something on the estate. At the bare minimum, they will get a property that meets the size of their family. And they will get a choice to stay with neighbours if everybody agrees that they all want to move together. If you're in temporary accommodation and you've been on the housing list for a year, again, we're very happy that people want to stay on the Aberfeldy. It's a great community, so we can understand why they want to stay there. We will be building new homes, different tenures, and we'll prioritise those to the people who are already on the estate or on the housing list.
Will residents have the option to remain in the borough or move out of the borough?
Yeah, so residents who don't want to stay on the estate, if they want to move to another Poplar HARCA area, then that's very much within our control, and we'll talk with every household one-to-one to work out what they want and whether it's something that we can offer them within our own stock. If they want to move a bit wider afield and stay in the borough, then their priority will be enhanced. So decant status does mean that they're higher up the list than other people, and they can bid for any property in the borough that becomes available in the usual way, but the type of property and the assessed need will have a much greater impact, and they'll only be offered something that their assessed need says that they're entitled to. Moving out of the borough is more difficult. Obviously, Poplar HARCA doesn't have any stock out of the borough. The one thing we can do, though, particularly if people have got family connections in other areas, is to make contact with other housing providers or local authorities and talk to them about whether we can help that move to take place, or if there's anything we can offer. But being honest, Mo, that's much more difficult, and we wouldn't be able to promise that.
If a resident didn't like the home that was offered, can they refuse and accept an alternative Poplar HARCA property?
Yes, that's an easy one to say yes to.
Can residents choose their neighbours? So, say for example, one of the things that's really come clear about Aberfeldy West is a real strong sense of community, particularly the neighbours. So, if the same neighbours in the new build wanted to stay together, would that option be there?
We'll do our best to do that. One thing that I would caution is that what we would do is talk one-to-one with each household to make sure that they're absolutely comfortable with all moving together, because in the past we have had a few tensions arise that residents didn't necessarily want to talk to their neighbours about.
How will homes be allocated? For example, if someone lives on the ground floor or has a garden.
So if you currently live on the ground floor, you will be allocated a ground floor property. If you've got a garden, we've made a commitment that the same outdoor space will be made available in your new home. Be looking to develop and design homes specifically for any health needs, so the more serious health conditions would be catered for. So the lettings policy says that you need a 2-bed, but you live in a 3-bed. You can move to a 2-bed if you want, but we're not going to force that. We've said that you will get like for like in terms of bedrooms that you've got, and we'll talk with every individual household about what it is they're looking for and how we can cater to that.
Will there be opportunities for family members to stay in the local area near parents and children?
Yeah, so anyone who's already on the housing list and has been on the housing list for a year and living on the Aberfeldy, we're making a promise that they can move to the new build. And what we will do is we will prioritise those households for social or affordable rent, but we can't guarantee social rent for those. Again, I want to be really honest with people about what the options are going to be. There'll also be opportunities for low-cost home ownership through shared ownership, and it could be particularly for adult children or adult children with their own children. that could be a really good option for them to get onto the housing ladder. If a son or a daughter or other household member isn't already on the housing list, my best advice is to get on the housing list first of all, but we can't promise that they will be offered a house or a property on the new estate. What we can say is we will work with them one-to-one and work with the whole household. Absolutely no one's going to be made homeless as a result of this.
Will Poplar HARCA guarantee one move only?
For anyone who's staying on the estate, yes. So depending on how we phase the demolition of the blocks, we will work with the resident steering group to get that phasing correct. It's one of the most stressful things that you can do moving home. Even if you're excited that it's a brand new home, there's an awful lot to do. So we've got a dedicated team. We will arrange for the removals for you. If you do need extra support, we'll arrange absolutely everything. So that includes fixtures, fittings, carpets, utility bills, moving your telly and making sure your Sky package is the one that you had before, Wi-Fi. But it's really about each household telling us what they need from us. So we'll be guided by the residents.
How much notice would residents get for the move?
Yep, so if you're moving to a Poplar HARCA property, we've got an awful lot more discretion. So we can work with the household and come to an agreement. But if someone needs a little bit longer, say a month to move, if you're moving to a Poplar HARCA property, that's not a problem. If you're moving to another landlord, however, particularly if you're tenant households and you're moving somewhere else in the borough, then that becomes more difficult. Once you've done the viewing of the property, which is usually within a few days, you're expected to move in the following Monday. We'll allow the household to carry on living where they are living and move over a couple of weeks, but they'll start to be responsible and paying the rent for their new home. So we'll do what we can within the limitations and within what's within our control.
Should I redecorate or leave it?
It's a really difficult one, but my expectation is we won't be moving anyone from Aberfeldy into new builds for at least 5 years. If you choose to move away from the estate, however, that could happen at any time. So it's really about you deciding for yourself as a resident whether you're staying on the estate or not.